Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 523. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
95%. 95%.
Bullshit. Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
All right, you already know. By the way, with the addition of Manny, this is the latest, the cast of the latest Invincible podcast. Like it was all four of us, pretty fun stuff.
Yo, may you say I'm not invincible, son?
Yeah, you're not invincible. You wasn't on the podcast. We got it on tape. You wasn't there. All right, people, we're back. Oh yeah, there you go, Carlos. He is the invincible. So yeah, Adam. By the way, so last week the reason he wasn't on it because he had to do the Reacher podcast. He was like, I'm gonna try to get. I'll be on late. He did show up after we already finished recording. So I predict that's gonna happen again tonight. Brian is probably playing Monster Hunter, and Brett is also playing Monster Hunter. By the way, quick update: if you guys saw the stream last night, Brett is doing very well. He actually played many hours of Monster Hunter Wilds with us. So that was lots of fun. And shout out to everybody that joined us, Subgata, the homie Sketch, good times with people, man. So Stay tuned. We'll be back with some more streams next weekend and for the following weekends until, everybody backs out their characters, Yeah, Barry, I'll fix that because I have to wait for this thing to go live. It's fucking stupid with Twitch, man. It says we're playing WoWs. We ain't WoWs. We're doing podcasts, baby. All right. Speaking about Monster Hunter Wilds, I want to give a shout out to one of our loyal listeners, Mr. Eurocar9. He's asking us, what are our thoughts on Monster Hunter Wilds? Since Rich and I already gave our review, I'll let the rest of you guys give your thoughts on it. But so for no reason whatsoever, Carlos, you could start it off.
Yeah, I mean, like Tony mentioned, we've been bringing back the Monster Hunter Wild streams, which are fun as hell. We've gotten the boys are back in town. We got Sketch, we got Mr. Gata, we got Chris, we got Tony, we got myself, we even got Gretchen and Brett. And Manny's been absent. I've been missing Manny. I want to hear his thoughts on the game, but we'll get those pretty soon. But yeah, man, the game is fun. I will say this. It's everything I've expected, except for a couple of things. I do have nitpicks on the game. Number one, and Tony and Chris know about this, I cannot figure out how the hell to get people to join my SOS flares. Not people I know, but random people. Because, playing the game with NPC, the NPC help is really cool. And we talked previously before the show started, Manny mentioned it's like, yeah, the NPC AI is like really good in this game. And yeah, so they help out a lot. But it's always good to get, other folks with different types of weapons and skills and stuff, just adds a little bit more flavor to the game. Another complaint about the game, and this is the elephant in the room, and it is a complaint from me. Some people may be disappointed about this. The game is really easy, man. There's really no. Here's the thing. This is my biggest complaint.
Keep it real.
Winning a battle is not as rewarding in this game as it was in the other ones because it just feels like inevitable. So I feel like, and it's not even about. It's not even about being good or not on the game or playing with people that are good. It just feels like there's no real danger anytime. A couple of times, but like Tony mentioned in the previous episode when he brought up his review, he only got carded 3 times throughout the entirety of his campaign. I've only been carded once, and I'm like, I think halfway maybe. So. It's really easy. So that's probably my biggest complaint. But I will say this: the the game looks great. It's it looks better than ever. The variety in the bosses, the monsters, is way better than the previous one. In the previous one, it's like, how many of these Rathalos type characters are you gonna face, or the Anjanath, and like there's a couple of what other type of dog running things am I gonna face, like the Oda or the, what do you call that, the electric one? I forget.
Yeah, yeah, lots of
but they're all, like,
reptiles in that game.
yeah, and there's really kind of types. There's this type of character, there's this type of monster, and like they kind of do iterations of that. No, this one, it seems like everyone is different. Like there's really not that much repetitiveness in terms of the big ones, the big monsters. So I really appreciate that. And like Tony mentioned, I will say this: got to give it credit, because I wasn't given any credit when I was playing it with the fellas. I was skipping every cutscene. And I got to the point in the campaign. I don't know. Without spoiling it, it's the place where the Guardians are at.
Yeah,
if that makes any
the
sense.
keepers, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is. I mean, the story is kind of interesting. Like it's lore. So compared to Monster Hunter World, it's a lot better in terms of narrative and storytelling. The voice acting in English can get some work done. So yeah, overall enjoying the game. Best part of the game always is playing with the fellas, having fun as always, bantering, talking about the game, helping each other out. Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah. By the way, Carlos, I was thinking about it. I actually only got carded one time during the campaign. The other 2 times I got carded were after I had finished everything, and I was just playing with random people online. Arkveld gives you the work, bro. But the first one that killed me was Gore Magala, and he killed me twice. He's you'll see, he's a bastard, bro. I was actually playing against him today. He almost killed me again.
Man.
Like, he's brutal, but generally, it is a little easier. But Chris, what are your thoughts on the game so far?
I appreciate Carlos's thoughtful analysis, because there's quality of life things that they did that make it superior to World, in terms of, like, you have a mount and you can sharpen while running, and there's all of these things. They put the quest board in your tent, so it's just right there. There's great things. I also skipped the cutscenes. I find, like, I was watching them, I'm like, everybody's just talking. Like, shut up! I want to just go hit something. Like, I don't think it's like, okay, we're looking for the keepers. Blah, blah. All right, whatever. I got it. Oh, got to hunt this monster. Okay, good. Shut up and let me just hit the road. The thing is, like, I do agree with the difficulty, and they must have turned it down too hard because they wanted more people to enjoy the game. Maybe we're not seeing the data that Capcom sees. Maybe in World and Iceborne, they got a lot of data that was drop off. I remember I didn't have an Anjanath moment, right? When it started the other game, you go out and you fight the Anjanath the first time, and he lays you out, and it's like the first or second monster you ever fight in World. And here, I didn't have that problem. As a matter of fact, I think you guys were busy with another thing. I walloped that spider.
Yeah.
I counted the spider. I was walloping him. I didn't even get poisoned once. And then Brian came in and just bitch slapped him around, and then that was it. Like, and I was like, oh shit. I never felt like I did in World. There were some fights where I'm like, Jesus, how am I gonna pull this out?
Dude, the double bezel geist, man. Remember that shit? Yeah. I was stuck on that shit for days, bro. And Chris, to your question about data, yeah, apparently Capcom revealed that most, because remember, we're not the majority player, right? We play games 100%, right? Most people checked out after the Anjanath battle.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. See, the curve was too high, but I think they overcorrected.
I agree.
Because, you have the joke, like the fart monkey, right? I forget its name. But that fight, I didn't even take it seriously. When you came in to help me, I really wasn't taking that fight seriously. It's just like, all right, stay away from his ass and you'll be all right. Yeah. Even I beat that Alpha Doma.
The Shogama, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even really have a problem. I beat it by myself with just the NPCs. And I was like, okay, So Carlos has a great point there. So I mean, hopefully they correct it. I think just you don't want that first monster. If that frog was like Anjanath, the
Yeah.
whatever that, if it was like that, then you have a problem, right? People would drop off right there. It's like I can't even kill the fucking tutorial monster, But you want things to after that. Maybe the second fight you do a give to, but after that, once you get in the forest, everything should have ramped up. After that, it should have been like, all right, the kid gloves are off, your training wheels are off, you know what you're doing,
Yeah, I
and
agree
then
with
go
that.
fight. But other than that, fantastic game. There's nothing. The only game I'm looking forward to this year, besides seeing the Elden Ring
Or Night Rain.
spin-off.
And we'll see
Night
about
Rain.
that game. We'll see about that
yeah.
game. Because
Yeah,
I
'cause-
played that beta, bro. It's not what you're looking for, man.
Yeah, I feel that too. After I saw the second trailer, I'm like, no, I don't know about this, but it's Doom the Dark Ages. That's all I can
Yeah,
think of that I'm
yes.
looking forward to the rest of this year. And
Yeah.
my wife's looking for Pokemon, which is like way out. That's like holiday this year, so that's way the fuck out.
No, well, what about GTA 6? We'll see about that game, bro.
Yeah, that ain't coming out this year.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right.
Game of the year, sure. I'll say it. Unless Doom is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And Doom is Doom, right? It's gonna hit a sweet spot, and have that visceral action and whatever. But it's not this, right? This is I like this. This is great.
Yeah. Manny, what are your thoughts so far?
I mean, I played on actually after the show on Thursday. Yeah, so far I'm digging what's going on. Like it's nice seeing the sort of, I think I said this before on the other ones. It's interesting seeing the sort of changes that they had made to some of the weapons. I think Brian would also agree on the fact that like they kind of made a lot of them really, really easy to use. But I also think I think a lot of the barrier, I think, for players is not being able to do the cool shit. To be able to get you obviously a trained Monster Hunter player could whip the shit out of the game. I think in a lot of ways, I think what they're trying to go for is like, all right, get people to a point where they're really comfortable. They're not too encumbered by this. As far as to be honest, I don't see the game getting, being slightly easier or a little easier as a bad thing, especially if you're going through a story mode. I feel like if you go for, I feel like after game is when the real challenge begins, and so far, it's not like I'm not dying and all that sort of stuff, just like you guys have said, but I feel like, to be honest, I think this. I feel like this for a lot of single player versions of games. They're always the extended training session of how to play the game, and then once you finally, especially with an online game like this one, once you've gotten past that, and once you're all that, that's when I think the real big stuff is going to happen. So, at least for me, I don't mind it. It's just like, all right, I get to go through the game, get to the things I want to see, and then finally get to the point where I can start really challenging myself and start taking the really big things. Because I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like a Monster Hunter game should be a get good game. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be. I don't think because it's such a wide appeal sort of game, I don't think they should just beat the shit out of you as soon as you walk in a room.
Yeah, but we're not asking that. We just want some. Like, again, I beat all the late rank stuff. Only one time I got carded. One time, like I was like just breezing. Even the tempered monsters, I'm like, this isn't really giving me the work. Like, I agree with you. It shouldn't be a get good game, but it also give you some pushback at some point. Like, again, Anjanath, that motherfucker gave you the work. That was after. That's just kind of now. He's the 7th monster. I think that's good. You fight 6 monsters, kind of ramp up, and then 7th one. Okay, you you got to get through this shit, or you're not going to progress, you know? And I think games need to have that. Just like the double bezel guys. You got to beat these guys before you move on, you know? But that was admittedly later on in the game and stuff, you know?
I have a way to make the game easier for you guys. Don't put on the good shit.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You want to make it hard? You want to make it hard? Put on the lower quality weapons and the lower quality armor, and then you'll get your challenge there.
I talked to Tony about this when we started the game. Remember, Tony, I told you, I don't really have a means to upgrade, so I'll just keep the same armor. I kept the same armor and beat like all of them.
Yeah, Carlos has had an issue, and he's just done that with the starter armor.
There you go.
Boom. Here's the thing with me, like, there's no one, and to the overall discussion about the game.
Yeah,
no one was asking for Wilds to be harder than Worlds.
No. I want it to be as hard as Worlds, you know?
As hard, even if you want to make it a little bit less difficult, that would be okay. This is a lot less difficult. Yeah. Like this is like way on the other spectrum of difficulty. And the thing with Monster Hunter Worlds is who cares about accessibility? That's the best-selling Capcom game of all time.
That's a good point.
This is true.
That's a good point. But again, I don't think Monster Hunter Worlds was that crazy difficult. I think I wanted this game to be as difficult as that, you know, because that game, again, the real challenge, the super challenging shit came with the DLCs later. You know, but yeah, I wanted that. It's like, so I kind of agree with you, Chris. They scaled it a little bit too much. You know, they scaled it a little bit too much. Yeah. But other than that, again, been having a good time. Although I will say this, I'm partly contributing to that whole too easy problem because I'm going online and just helping the low rank people beat the monsters.
You know, the only complaint I do have about this is a silly complaint. You can't change the language to Monster Hunter language.
Oh yeah, the old language. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is in the game.
It's in the game. You hear it. You hear it.
You hear it when you are not directly talking or hearing any of the NPCs, like any of the background NPCs, they're all goofy Monster Hunter language. But otherwise, whenever you talk or voice act or anything like that, or you know, like that to main people or whoever's like talking that's important to you, whatever your quests are, then they speak English. But it would be fun if they, because yeah, I also agree with Carlos on the voice acting. It's kind of hokey. Like it's really kind of like goofy and hokey sounding. I mean, granted, it is a Japanese game that's translated into English or localized into English, so it might be a little bit weird. But yeah, I would much rather I'd much rather just hear it in some other goofball language, just because you're gonna be doing a lot of reading anyway.
Yeah. Minor spoilers.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You know the character, not that.
Not that. Yeah.
There's one scene, man. There's one scene where when he's like his realization. He's like, I don't know if you remember this, where he realizes something when he learns about the world and he's like realizing something. I'm like, come on, man. That's some like Manny mentioned. That's some hokey ass shit.
Yeah. But you know, again, my thing with the story, it's like it's fun, but you're not supposed to really take it seriously. You know,
it's really just enough story to get you to go along. That's really what it is. It's like an excuse. That's what it is. It's an excuse to, you know, like, oh hey, look.
Yeah, and admittedly, and Carlos, I think even you would say this: the characters in this game are better than World. At least they have more character. At least, you know, personality. You know.
Shit, even your own character.
Your own, yeah. He's like talk, yeah. You know,
he's talking a lot. He's talking a lot more.
Yeah. So yeah, I do predict that because when we played World, we were grinding that shit for like almost 2 months streaming. I don't think we're going to be doing that for this long because there's also not a lot of monsters compared to World. World had 37 at launch. This one has 29. So it's less monsters. But in April, you already know, man, they're adding more monsters. And interestingly, they said they're going to add monsters that are beyond tempered. I'm like, oh shit, what's this? Because I can't say because of spoilers, because there's 2 types of monsters. There's tempered and another type. I'm like, what if you like, are they going to have a combination monster, bro? You know? I already kind of gave you a hint. I mentioned Gore Magala. If you know what his specific thing is, add that to Tempered. Could be crazy. And like I said, Gore Magala is the only one that's giving me the true work in this game. You know, like he was the only one that carded me during the main game. He carded me during, like, you know, when I played with other people. And today I was playing him. Motherfucker almost killed me again. I'm like, yo, he's crazy. So I'm like, I wish there was more of that, you know? Because even don't get me wrong, Arkveld, the main character, the main monster of the game, if you're not watching your ass, he will fuck you up. Like there's instances where I'm like, thank God I'm a fucking charge blade guy because that shield saved my ass. You know, especially when there's that chain shit. If you played the beta, you already know about that. I'm not spoiling anything. But yeah, no. But other than that, I'm having again complaints. You know, with this difficulty aside, it's too much fun, man. I'm having so much fun just playing this game, and the quality of life stuff is really cool. Although I will say this is something we said during the stream, but say it again. You know, because one of the things that we've said a lot on Throwdown is how, you know, we think, you know, most of us generally believe that Japanese or Eastern developers make better games than Westerners. But the thing that Westerners have over Japanese all day, every day is connectivity online, bro. Why the fuck is it so difficult to just connect with people in fucking Japanese games? This is a constant thing, you know? Like, it's so seamless in like every other Western game. Yo, jump in, jump out, whatever. Yo, we have to do all this, like, what do we have, Carlos? Link parties, squad members, friend, like all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? IDs. Yeah, it's like, it's too much. Hunter IDs, what is this, Nintendo, bro? You know,
the menus in general in this game is atrocious.
It's not
there's
great.
Literally, there's like literally two duplicated things on different menu slots. It's like, guys, really, this is awful. Like, it's just like, I mean, I guess if you could set it onto a keyboard if you're playing mouse and keyboard, right? Because it supports that stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is overly complicated.
And the sad part is it's actually more streamlined than World. And it's still a mess. Still a mess. Still a mess.
But yeah, going back real quick to the monsters, and I don't know if you guys agree. I mentioned this previously, but the variety between the monsters, even though there might not be as many, it's way better than Worlds.
Yo, that octopus, when you saw that shit the first time, you're like, what the fuck? You know? I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, how do I fight this thing? I don't know how to fight this thing. And even the spiders the first time, I'm like, because it's skipping animations like a real insect would. I'm like, how do I fight? Like, you eventually get it, but that first initial time you see him, you're like, yo. Like, because you're not prepared for that. And World never prepared for that. You just fought reptilians the whole time, basically, you know? You saw motherfuckers with fur in this game, like, what? You know?
Did anybody turn on the arachnophobia mode?
No, I didn't do that because I don't have arachnophobia. But yeah,
they have that.
Yeah, they have that. It's like something mode. Yeah, it is arachnophobia mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I did the demo of it. When I did the press tour or whatever, they were like, "You want to turn on? Do any of you have arachnophobia?" I'm like, "Why?" Like, "Oh, the game has a setting for that." I'm like, "Okay, no, I'm good." You know. All right, man. So yeah, good stuff, Monster Hunter. But the next question is also about Monster Hunter, people. Assyrian Air Force. Given all the issues with the Monster Hunter Wilds PC version, should Capcom have released the game first on console before porting it to PC like they did with Monster Hunter World? Interesting question, because but here's the thing, it's not consistent. Again, we were playing with the homie Sketch last night. He was on PC, he says no issues, you know?
Yeah, I mean, on the demo, the beta, I played that on PC as well, and yeah, it ran pretty well.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Manny. Seamless. This is interesting. You'll find this interesting. People said that the same people that said they played the beta had no problems now have problems with the main version. Crazy, right?
Who knows?
So yeah, I think it would have. I understand they want to get everybody in at the same time, and generally that's a good thing. But Capcom has a track record when it comes to PC ports, you know. And here's the thing: people forget Monster Hunter World when that first came out on PC. That was like maybe a year after fact. It was fucked up. It wasn't good at first. They had to fix it, you know. So how is the game running for you on PC? I don't think anybody in the podcast is playing it on PC.
No, we're not playing it. Most of us,
We're playing it on PS5. Yeah,
yeah. With the exception of our buddy Sketch, he's probably the only one that's playing.
even
it on
Brian, Manny, he's playing it on PS5 as well. You know,
which I'm surprised of. I'm surprised he didn't, pull out the IMPC card and.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's a reason for that, Manny. You'll understand this. The platinum.
Hey, whoa.
Because remember, he got the platinum in World, so he wants to keep that going. Brian likes his, just like us. He likes his platinums. Seems like
Nice.
the PC Kishak, what's going on, brother? He goes, seems like the PC version of games seems borked nowadays. Yeah, especially with Japanese developers. That's the other thing. Sometimes these, the reports of PC games, and we've said this before, it's because they have generally not been very PC centric. Chinese are, obviously. So are the Koreans.
China and Korea are very much PC centric. So you will get a solid PC version of a game from them, and then you'll probably get a kind of gimped console version of their stuff. Hence why you don't see Black Myth Wukong on Xbox, because PC console development is not their strong suit.
Yeah, and that's why when I got offered a review code for Black Myth, I'm like, give me the fucking PC code. But when I was offered the Monster Hunter, give me that PS5 code, because I already knew what was going to happen.
One thing I do have to say I am impressed with, though, with Monster Hunter Wilds is the improvement over the first beta. It's running a lot better than it was on that first beta that I remember seeing.
Yeah. So again, that's my answer. Yes, I think they should have delayed it. Especially if they had to have known how fucked up this game was. But again, Manny, you know this well. They got to hit those deadlines and stuff.
You gotta hit those milestones. You gotta hit those deadlines. And I mean, if they felt that even though it might have been a little bit maybe the PC version might be a little bit undercooked, it's probably negligible and they can fix it. And I think that's what it is. Their main thing was the consoles in general.
Yeah, for sure. What about the rest of you guys? What do you think? You think they should have delayed the PC version?
I mean, just from seeing some of the chatter online, probably, yeah. Because I mean, you don't want to have that reputation, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good one to carry around, especially with the PC crowd. They'll look down on you for life. Yeah, I would have, if I were to tell Capcom to do something, be like, yeah, just delay this by a couple of weeks, maybe a month or something.
Yeah.
Get it ready to be playable. I don't know how they saw it when they released it, but obviously it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
How bad are the things that I haven't been paying much attention as far as like those things go? Like, what are people reporting? Like, are just the game constantly crashing?
Yeah, crashing, texture issues, loading, bunch of glitches. It's just like it's just the optimization is the main problem. There's a lot of graphical stuff that's going on. And lots of problems.
The reason I noticed the backlash was started with the Digital Foundry video, because their title was pretty interesting. They said, and I went back to it. It says Monster Hunter Wilds PC, profound performance problems must be addressed.
Damn, yeah, that's a alliteration right there. Chris, what are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I agree with that. They should have. They probably gambled on that. They had an all hands on deck scenario to handle issues and they wanted launch parity between the systems, but that seems to be a mistake. You didn't have the manpower or enough time to address the problems. You underestimated the issues with PC, so they should have delayed it maybe 2 weeks. You don't want to push it off too far. Like 30 days may be too much, because if you're going to do that, then you should delay all of it, right?
Yeah.
Till it's sorted, which would have pissed off people. But yeah, I think it's more important to get it right than to release it broken.
I agree.
But another 2 weeks for a PC version, and then just put out a statement saying, hey, we're having some issues. We'll do another beta on PC in a week. we're working around the clock on it. We'll get it sorted. That would be acceptable. I think that would have been a good move.
Yeah, Kishak says, didn't the game have over 1 million active users on Steam? I don't think Capcom will care when that many people pay for a buggy release. I mean, they will care if those people don't stay, you know?
Well, yeah.
If the word keeps spreading, because remember, they want these people, you know, they want people to have a good time and then tell people about it and keep the thing growing. Yeah. But if, you know, what's that old saying? It's like first impressions and all that. So this is not making a good impression for the PC guys, you know?
But I mean, one thing about PCs though, it's like, it seems like people can fix things and everybody sort of forgets how broken these things were too.
Yeah.
We've had situations where games have come out pretty bad, you know.
Bethesda, just say it. Just say it.
Yeah, Bethesda games have come out pretty damn bad, but then over time people have been fixing it and fixing until it works. So I mean, granted, it will get that bad Steam review on the initial thing, but all that shit gets flipped around once the damn thing starts working. So
yeah.
Right
now,
maybe they felt that was maybe again like it was just one of those things. Like, okay, we know this thing is not up to snuff, but let's just get it out there and we'll fix it while we're driving down the road.
That's annoying, man. Is Monster Hunter Wild using RE Engine? Yes, they are. Doesn't seem to run well for open world games. What other open world games does RE Engine have?
None.
This is like the first open world game they've.
And it's not even. I mean, it is open world, but it also isn't.
Oh, actually, no. Monster Hunter Rise. That is a RE Engine game too, but it's also a lighter RE Engine.
Yeah, that's right. Arkham Knight was bad on PC. That was like 10 years ago. You know, Dragon's Dogma. Oh, there you go. Dragon's Dogma. There you go. That's an RE Engine game, and that was fucked up on PC as well.
Was that ever fixed?
I don't know. I don't know if it was, but that was fucked up on PC too.
Yeah.
Again, there's a pattern here, you know.
Maybe Capcom needs to talk with a more experienced porting studio, you know.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to address real quick, and I wish Brian was here for that, because I know one of the reasons Brian joined Throwdown many years ago is because, you know, whenever we would talk about PC games, we would get shit wrong, and it would piss him off. So we wanted to have him on the show, or he wanted to be on the show to correct stuff. And obviously, we never had any problems with PC people ever since Brian showed up. But now I understand his frustration when I hear dumb shit. You know, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I've seen several YouTube videos saying that, oh, Capcom is telling people to buy a better graphics card to play this game. Capcom didn't say that. They said update your graphics drivers. That's software, you know? But they're like saying, oh, they want you to buy a new GPU. No, they're saying update the drivers for the graphics card you have, bro. You know, but so I shout out to Brian for that one, because I understand what he must have felt with us, like, you know, 12 years ago, you know, saying dumb shit. Oh man, but yeah, you know, hopefully Capcom will fix it, but it's the way it is, man.
But we had Chris on the show. He's
no. This was before. PC. This was before Chris.
Oh, okay.
Remember, Brian was OG. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brian was like like he was there before you, Manny. You know, Brian is super OG. You know. This is a bad time right now for PC building with the price for parts. I'm glad you asked that, because Assyrian Air Force, I'm glad you're here too, because you asked us, you know, our thoughts on, you know, the new AMD graphics cards, but like we said, that's kind of out of the scope of this podcast, dude. We can't talk about it. Like, you know, us, we know we have our opinions on it, but this is a video game podcast. I know graphics cards you need for video games, but that would get into the whole company shit. That's not what this podcast is about. But I'll just quickly say this. No, AMD is not going to gain any market from NVIDIA, because remember, AMD's whole thing has always been our graphics cards are cheaper. That's never helped them overtake NVIDIA. It's not going to happen now. Even though the 50 series is having all those issues, it's not going to stop. AMD is not suddenly going to gain more market share. You know, It is how it is, man. It's the history thing. It's not a new thing that AMD has cheaper graphics cards. They've always had cheaper graphics cards than Nvidia, but it never works because Nvidia cards are, I'm just gonna say they're better. They have better technology and they're more widely supported,
Yeah, this and just to give frame of reference, maybe Kishak hasn't, or maybe he has been part of this conversation. But
well, this is for Cyrano Enough versus he. Cyrano Enough is the one that asked that question.
Oh, okay, we've been having this conversation for 20 years now.
Yeah,
it's the same one. It's always the same one about AMD because Nvidia's always been on top, and it's always like, oh, AMD is going to catch up this time because they're releasing this and it's cheaper, and it's always it's hard to think about anybody other than Nvidia being on top. It's crazy.
Yep, 100%. And last thing here, Kishak says AMD has never really gotten rid of the stigma of being cheap when it comes to GPUs. Yep, that stigma's still with them. Their GPUs have gotten a lot better, but they're still not NVIDIA quality, AMD CPUs are great. Yes, they are. They're very, very good. They've definitely, Ryzen, AMD CPU is very good. Again, I'm even toying with maybe getting one for myself for my next build because they're very good. But I would not get an AMD card. Personally, I would not get one. All right, moving on here. Black Metal Gamer. There seems to be a theme for his questions this week. They're all about Western versus Eastern gaming development. If Western game developers don't course correct, will AAA Western gaming disappear and be replaced by niche and indie games? I think what's going to happen is there's going to be, how do I put this correctly? They're not going to go away. They're just going to be very few and far between. This again, Manny, who said that? Sean Layden. It's unsustainable. So I think there's going to be a retraction, a retraction of that many AAA games. And unfortunately, we're probably going to see way, way more remasters. We've gotten to the point where they're desperate for remasters, where they're remaking fucking Days Gone, a game that Sony shunned,
Well, not really a remake. It's just a...
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, they're remastering that, a game that they shunned, but they know people like it,
They're remastering...
Go ahead.
They're remastering Days Gone, and Xbox is using AI to make Bleeding's Edge, good game or something. It's like it's weird the way that they're trying to get these old games to be viable.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, chat goes. This question may seem like dumb, but it's actually good to know this. Would you guys consider developers like CD Projekt Red and Larian Studios Western or European? It's the same thing. So they're Western. It's all Western. Thing, yeah.
Yeah,
like you can get a little bit more nitty gritty. There's like, oh yeah, American developers and European, but when we're talking about Western, we're talking about the Western world widely.
The Western world,
yeah.
The Eastern would be India, China, and
Japan,
Korea, Japan. That would be Eastern.
Yeah, it's a good question though. Anyway, what the hell? And I forgot what the fuck we're talking about. Oh yeah, Western game. Yeah, Chris, what are your thoughts? AAA game development in the West.
Yeah, it's not the crash of '83, but it seems like our industry is crashing. It's just slow. It's like I don't know. It's like a train derailment in slow motion. Like cars are flying off and whatever. The bleeding hasn't stopped. We're always talking about some studios shutting down, a bunch of people getting fired, laid off, big publishers closing down things. I sent that thing today where Google Maps, if you go to BioWare Austin, it says it's permanently closed.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about
It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. So BioWare is on borrowed time. And I don't know if they get to Mass Effect, but if they do, Mass Effect 4 better be the most stellar thing they ever made.
Yeah.
Because they're on life support. And there's more and there's more cuts even promised, right? So the only way to course correct this industry is the AAA needs to collapse, right? Yeah. The smaller studios need to form, and not just indie, kind of AA straight, kind of like what Rebel Wolves is trying to do.
Yeah.
The guys from CD Projekt Red. You need that, or the guys from Rocksteady, right? They're going to spun off into their own thing. You need more of that.
or what the creators of Hellblade were. They were that sort of idea
Yeah, yeah. We need more of
before
that,
they got
and
bought.
yeah. Well, that's the problem. Like the industry, the AAA industry, EA, Activision, only just swallowed everyone, right? Anything, any IP or anything they want, they just swallowed them, right? And then there were mergers and everything. It's gotten too bloated. The budgets on games are too large. They're very difficult. Once they get that big, once you're in the multi-million dollar range of tens or hundreds of millions of dollars for a budget for one title,
Mm-hmm.
you it's impossible to course correct, right? It's gone too far. There's too many people involved. Once a game hits a certain stage of development, you can't just like cut it and scrap. Like they're just gonna try to finagle it and release it, right? But if it's ideologically bad, if it's buggy, if it's all that stuff, it's too late. Like investors are waiting to see it. That's always the driving force. It's never about like us, right? What we want. It's going to be like, well, the shareholders expect this launch then, and we need this for a report, so this is the launch date, right? And everybody needs to just follow along with that. That is the problem with all these AAA studios. They're following along with guidelines that make their portfolios and shareholders happy. And
Yeah.
that's not the way it should work. It should be your customers are happy. And then what happens now? What's the constant complaint? No, we're not happy, right? We're just like this looks like trash, or this is calling me a piece of shit, or
Yeah.
it's all these problems. So what's the solution? Let it collapse. I say it has to. It has to collapse. Like it's too bloated, it's
I
too
agree.
unwieldy. Like what's happening now is just freaking the free market is healing itself, right? And you need to shed all this stuff. People need to reform, regroup into smaller studios. Smaller studios need to come back. Original ideas need to come back. It doesn't need to be every studio doesn't need to be a Halo factory or a Call of Duty factory or whatever. You need new ideas, and you need people to take chances on things, and that needs to come back. So, and I think that's what's happening. It's just happening so slowly and painfully that we're not seeing it because it's happened over years. It's not just one day, boom, everything like like a Black Friday event on Wall Street or something. It's slowly happening. We're still in it.
Yeah, we haven't had an ET release. We didn't have a movement like that. It's just been happening again. But again, I had that realization last year when one of you guys in the chat asked us, like, are we in the middle of are we going to have a video game crash? That I was like, I think we've been in one. It really came to me. I'm like, oh shit. And then I started putting it all together. I'm like, oh crap! And then, and Chris, here's the crazy thing. I tweeted about that. People were like, you're crazy. One of the reasons it's happening is because people don't want to accept what's happening around them.
Yeah.
I was like, studios are closing down. People are getting laid off. Fucking money's just being wasted. All this shit. I'm like, guys, this is not good. This is a crash. No. I like this game, so everything's good.
Yeah, I feel like we're reaching a point, or we reached a point where games are too big to not fail. Where they're such bloated and huge budgets. Like first of all, the AA has ceased to exist for the most part, and it's only AAA or indies. And AAAs are getting these exorbitant budgets because they're trying to catch the white whale.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the Fortnite money. They're trying to get the GTA money. So they develop these games that are a lot of them are just clones or rehashing on old nostalgia or doing all this with bloated budgets. So and the reason I mentioned that they're always pretty much failing is because they can't, if they don't make an exorbitant amount of money, it's considered a failure. And it's like they can't even break even and be like, okay, we live to go another day. No, if they don't make a whole bunch of profit, it's game over for them. And we saw with Square Enix where like they sold 3 million copies and they're still not happy about this. Like that kind of stuff. And with video games, it's just how to make the most money possible. It's not really about telling stories. It's not really about developing art. It's that soul of video games is surely dying. That's why there's still, even though I'm not a fan of all of his games, but like that's why we always appreciate people like Kojima.
Yeah,
because he's He's a visionary. He's an artist, and he comes up with concepts of video games. I don't think Kojima is seeing Fortnite and thinking about his new game. Be like, oh, what can I take from this to make the most money? No, I always feel like at worst, Kojima's just thinking about who can I hire from Hollywood. That's pretty much it. But with video games, in the Western sense, there's just ran by corporations, and they have shareholders, and they have to make X amount of money, so they're getting greenlit with 200, 300, 400 million dollar budgets, and they're like, we have to make all of this back and then some. And what's the best way to do it? Let's see what the Fortnite guys are doing. Let's see what the Call of Duty guys are doing. Let's see what the GTA guys are doing. And that's just not a way that people should approach making video games. Because
they shouldn't approach anything like that. If you're an animation, you're like, what's Pixar doing? That's not the way to go. If you don't have an idea, if you're just like, well, they're successful, what are they doing? We'll do that. Or you just copying.
There's too much of that.
I mean that's what you get where you have a bunch of bean counters or a bunch of uncreative people that are in there. They're just looking for the next thing. What's everybody else doing that we can? What's the thing that we can do to make to sort of jump off of this thing, as opposed to trying to create something new, or essentially again essentially trying to push these sorts of things. Okay, obviously you're not going to be spending $1 billion on a Horizon Zero Dawn type of title, but spending the money on the smaller titles and then evolving them and growing them as time progresses. There was a time when that happened, where these games were just made for may have been started at a middle A budget. As long as they stayed under budget, the creators had as much a freedom to do what they wanted to do with their title. And now it's just like, oh no, it's got to be a hit. It's got to be big. That's the same. That's why you get Spider-Man 3, the movie.
Yeah.
When the budgets get so high that the bean counters at the top said, well, you better make sure this shit is good,
Yeah. So you got to add this, and that, and then dilutes the whole thing. And it's all fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. It always it's the constant cycle of companies like this, big companies essentially having so much over on these things of that success. There's only two things where there's only success and failure, and I don't think that can be sustained. I think we really need to just take a step back. Don't blow. Okay, obviously have your big games, right? Every game doesn't need to be that big, massive game. We had that back when we were young, right? You had your small experiences like your Super Mario games or your little platformer game, and then you had your 50, you had your hundreds of hours RPG game. But now every game is trying to do everything, right? You're trying to be this
Applebee's of gaming. Applebee's of gaming, exactly. Like we always say.
And then I know a lot of gamers get into the weeds about price and length. And this is a thing that started with a lot with the Order 1886, where they felt like that whatever was paid there was not enough for how much the game, how much actual game you're playing. I'm like, it comes in different sizes. And I know. I think people need to get out. I think on both ends. I think the big guys, the executives need to get out of this just copy or do what everybody else is doing, and it will make millions of dollars. Or the other side, gamers need to get out of their own fucking asses and be like, oh well, you only spent 6 hours on this game. It's not enough.
I spent $70. I need to get 70 hours at least. It's like, okay, bro.
In this game, where is it? Come on.
Yeah, it's like, but I spent $30 in a cup of popcorn in the movies for an hour and a half, and I'm satisfied.
Yeah, come on now, it's crazy.
Yeah,
all right,
that's just the way things are going. There's a lot of things that needs to.
These are
things that have been issues, for a long time.
No, that's why I agree with Chris. To let it all burn down.
Yeah, I mean, either that or hopefully that like with this scare in the industry, that it definitely causes starts a thought change within it. Hopefully it does. I
Hopefully.
don't personally,
Hopefully.
granted, I don't think, here's the thing, like, our Western game industry has failed and crashed and burned before, but then it came back again.
And it was a good
right?
thing that it happened, you know?
But I don't believe it will get to the point where it's only we're just getting Asian games. I still don't believe
Oh, no,
that.
that's not
I
going to
think
happen.
that-
But I agree. I think
think-
the Western gaming, as we know it, needs to crash and burn so it could come back better, you know? Like, the current model does not work. It needs to die.
I don't think it should die. I think it just should.
The current model, you're happy with the current model, Manny? You think the
I'm not
big
happy.
AAA gaming, all the big budgets
can
are
you just
fine?
let me speak
No,
for a second, Tony?
because you're going off on a
Because
whole
you're
thing.
just
Yeah.
jumping in and not letting me finish my fucking thought.
Yeah, because you were going off on a whole other tangent, but now you're good.
No, I'm not going on a whole tangent.
Yeah.
You just you let Brett go fucking dance.
Oh, I
around-
stop him
dance
with the
around
bullshit
topic.
too. I stop him with the bullshit too.
Anyway,
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Anyway, so I was just saying, I'm not exactly happy with the way things are, but I don't believe an industry should die. I do believe that an industry should at least fall. They should fall, but you shouldn't fall to the point where you die. You should fall to the point where you can get back up.
That's
again.
what Chris and I are saying. We're not saying it should die. We're saying the current model should die.
Well, no, you just said the industry should.
No,
just die.
I said the current model, motherfucker. That's why I was trying to correct you. The current model needs to die. You don't agree that the current model is good. You know it needs to go away.
I definitely agree that the current model is good, but I don't believe that I don't believe it should, but I don't believe it should die. I believe it should correct it. Should get to the point where it can correct itself.
That's
But
what we're saying.
Probably some. Yeah.
That's exactly what we've been saying. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, the correction is the formation of new studios, getting these larger corporations out of the picture, so that more creative people have control. You need a balance of business elements and stuff, and the balance is completely out of whack. Like Manny said, it is executives and shareholders that are in charge of the entire process, start to finish. And all creatives are there to do is to just execute those ideas. And the problem is those ideas, which we see a lot of them fail, right? Well, who gets the shaft? The same guys who made it, right? The creatives.
Yeah. It's never the guys making the decisions.
Yes.
Making the demands, right?
And
Exactly.
That is what's broken.
Bobby Kotick is doing very well for himself, despite all that bullshit he did to the industry. You know?
Yep.
Exactly.
The guys up top never suffer. Go ahead, Ben.
Do you guys want spoilers?
For Monster Hunter?
Spoiler.
For the video game industry.
Okay, go ahead.
Are we talking to Miss Cleo now? Did we just call you now for the free
Future
tarot reading?
Carlos.
I gave reference to this on my first episode of Throwdown when I was complaining about this shit. Video games are not gonna come back. Or like as far as Western games, they're not gonna make a comeback. At least I find it difficult. Never say never. But the whole thing with Western video games is there isn't a dearth of talent anywhere to excavate for this. There's not only is there not that, there's not the inspiration that there used to be to cultivate talents to want to be video game directors and video game devs.
That's a good point.
Most people nowadays want to be tech bros and do coding and stuff like that. At least from the people that would kind of do game development as well, like people that would go off that same branch. Most people don't want to be a game developer anymore. Most people don't want to be artists. Most people just want to be content creators. That's all they want to do. That's the world that we're getting into. And in Japan, the reason why Japan is so different is because they still have that mindset. It's still part of the social construct when it comes to the Japanese culture and the way that they develop video games. It's still ingrained into their culture, which is a big societal thing for them. And over here, it doesn't exist. We live We live in a free market society where we're just trying to get to the biggest thing, the next big thing. And video games is not that. It's cryptocurrency, it's AI, it's it's other stuff that's sort of leading the path. Japan doesn't have that. I mean, they probably do to an extent, but not like the US, where there's this big rush to get to the next AI thing, right? And that takes away talented people from being inspired and to do video games. But no, they're not both inspired, and there's no inspiration to get into those fields. So video game creation is just not getting the same talent. It's not getting from the same talent pool it once had, and it's just not going to recover.
Are you sure
I
that
agree.
it's not just? It's just. Are you sure it's just not more built on the fact that people are just trying to find the easy way?
Yeah, that is that.
Yeah,
It's like all the things that you speak or you're talking about are it's easy money, it's easy outcome, and then they're also again a cutting of costs by cutting individuals, right? And then what is the like YouTubers and or like influencer culture? It's the easiest way to essentially get ahead here. It's not creating content, it's just commenting on content.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you. Your two ideas are not mutually exclusive. That's a good point about the culture. It's like that's what a lot of people really care about. They don't care about game development, so it's kind of scary. But I think what's going to happen, since we're doing Miss Cleo moments, I think what's going to happen is we're going to have what I consider a course correction where Western gaming development is not going to go anywhere, obviously. But I think just like it was in the 80s and the 90s and most of the 2000s, it's going to be the Japanese and the Asian guys. They're going to be on top
dominating.
again. They're going to be the dominant force. But you will still obviously Western gaming is not going to go anywhere.
Well, it's going to take a dip. It's going to take a dip. There's, like Carlos said, there's a talent dip, but once the industry corrects itself, there's this dip of people who bowed out. Either they don't want to do game development because they've been burned by the industry, you lost your job, whatever. You're like, I need to do something else. So you go into like MIS or something. You just leave. But it's gonna come a point where that it will be attractive again, and it's gonna be spurred by the games coming out of Asia, and then people are like, well, I can make something, and then that will coalesce back into interest. People get back into game development here. There will still be guys here, like Tony says, it's not gonna go away. It's just gonna diminish, and Asia's gonna dominate. They're already starting to dominate. Right?
Yeah, so it's already happening. The best-selling games are just fucking, becoming, coming out of Asia more and more all the time. So again,
comics.
Yeah, I was just thinking about comics. Comic books are never going to go away. It's just Marvel and DC, they may go away, but comics will always be here.
It's the idea. It's also the idea, like what Chris. To jump off of what Chris said, it's like the idea that. With smaller, with maybe the idea of a big media conglomerate, like video game studio, maybe that's the thing that needs to die. Right?
I agree. We need,
like in other words, you look at a lot of these companies that are literally just trying to score as many of these things as possible. Maybe that specifically right there is really the death of the industry.
Yeah.
Again, like what Chris said, maybe it is going back to what essentially the game industry had been previously, where it was a bunch of smaller studios.
Yep.
Yeah. But Shuhei Yoshida, to also bring on to not Shuhei Yoshida, but the former Ready at Dawn, guy Andreas said, the industry itself, when it comes to being published by these big companies, is also screwed up when you're, especially a company working for the big studios like Sony or for PlayStation or for Xbox, whereas their milestone system is all based on results as opposed to making something that is legitimately good, and they can hold back money from those studios while they're attempting to develop their games, based on the fact that they didn't see them reaching a certain goal.
Yeah. Again,
so
the current model needs to die. It's all fucked up. It's broken. It doesn't work.
I mean, I think he even said it was better when a lot of these studios would end up going over to, letting themselves be absorbed into a place like PlayStation or Xbox, because if they did go over on time, if they didn't fully hit those things, they're still a lot more lenient. Whereas a company like he said, like the God of War game or Last of Us, when they went over on time, he goes, though, if that we were to do that on our end on the Order 1886, we would have been fucking fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Because the next question the next question is going to be simple because we kind of mostly answered it. But go ahead.
Real quick, I wanted to bring up one of Chris's points, which was a really good one.
Yeah.
We still have to see how Japanese development, which is at top, I think everyone agrees is on top right now, can inspire the Western world and its future creators. The only thing that worries me is Japanese development and even manga creation and the artists there aren't really treated that well.
Yeah,
over
the
there either.
creators. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, so it's like, we're hopefully that we can still squeeze more juice from that, from Japanese games and Japanese stories and stuff that can inspire us to be better. Because if that runs dry any day, it's like, well, what the hell is left?
Another question, and it's like, and this is something that a lot of this is also sounding very much like the animation industry.
Yep.
What is to stop any of these companies to just purely outsource?
Yeah, I mean they're already doing it, aren't they?
Where is like, in other words, you may have some of your concepts coming over from here. This is the way the animation industry works. You have your concepts and a lot of your all that other stuff the concept and all that, the game design, all coming from here, and then just shipping it off to other countries just to finally make the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's already happening.
That's a big one. Where, in other words, them believing that the talent over here is not even worth it, and they're just saying, okay, no, we're just Indian studio, you pay your people like $2, or Chinese studio, you pay your people this, okay, you're just our outsourced company, you're just going to make the game.
Yeah, I can see that.
To me that's a pretty scary thought right there.
Yeah.
Or in other words, they just totally throw their hands up at making anything over here. Kind of like the way we don't make anything here in the make almost nothing in here in the United States currently.
Yeah.
Except for films, and even films are getting all outsourced to other countries because it's cheaper.
It's crazy. All right, next question. Again, it'll be a lot easier to answer this question because of everything we've just been talking about. This question's also kind of interesting, also from Black Metal Gamer. Since Eastern game studios can release games faster and more cost-effective than Western studios, should Western publishers hire Eastern game developers, like maybe EA or WB Games hiring more Chinese or Japanese studios and employees? Like we talked about, it's not about Japanese people, Chinese people don't just make better games because of their DNA or their knowledge. It's because of the culture, right? If you just bring a bunch of Chinese, all the Black Myth Wukong guys to start making, working for a Western studio, right? They still have the culture here to deal with, so you're gonna get the same result. It's not gonna magically, oh, that guy's Chinese, he automatically makes better games. It doesn't work like that. Just like if you have, Western, you probably have Western guys go to Japan, suddenly their games are better, because it's a different culture, Go ahead, Chris.
No, that's spot on. No, I agree with that 100%. You nailed it. I mean, imagine you bring a bunch of talent from like you said, like Black Myth Wukong or the Stellar Blade guys, and you put them under WB. You see what a disaster WB is? And they have to deal with the same thing. You have the suits at the top and you have investors, whatever. They would be subjected to the same pressures and the same problems and the same deadlines. And then they will make the same crap.
Yep.
Right? Essentially. That's all it is. Yeah. It's not because they're Chinese or Japanese or anything, or they're, even their talent level, their education, whatever. It's the culture. Absolutely. Tony's 100% right. You put them in our environment, you put them under the thumb of the AAA studios and the suits there, and you'll get the same bullshit we've been getting now.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to know what the bullshit we're talking about, listen to the last 20 minutes. Like, we laid out all the problems with Western gaming, and these, Eastern developers where they work here would be subjected to all of that. So you wouldn't get a better product just because, again, it's not like, the Asian master race or shit like that. It's not about that. It's just the culture and the work and all that. It's like, we got fucking problems here, man, when it comes to Western game development,
Can I
go
get
ahead.
a counterbalance real quick?
Sure.
I do got to give Western developers credit for something.
They make better UI and are more user friendly when it comes to online.
No, it's not even that. If
What's up,
it
Adam?
wasn't for Western,
Yeah.
what about if it wasn't for Western developers, we wouldn't have gotten Rich's favorite game, and that's Conquer.
The butter game.
The butter game. All right. All right, let's keep moving on here. Another one. This one's a sponsored question by Mr. Ramudeth, a good guy, sponsoring another black metal gamer question. Also kind of tied into what we've been talking about. I can see where his head's been at lately. Understandably so. After the Wonder Woman debacle, should the gaming industry stay away from comic book licensed games? It seems like it costs too much and it's not sustainable. No, it goes back to the developers and the people up top. Think about it like this. What is one of the most successful games right now? Marvel Rivals, right? The issue isn't that, this is a comic book license, that's the problem. No. It's because the people handling it are not doing a good job, And conversely, kind of tying things together, we learned that Spider-Man 2 cost $300 million, which is fucking insane, and a good chunk of that was the licensing, But yeah, suddenly, again, just because it's we've had many dozens, hundreds of fantastic comic book video games. It's about who makes them, It's not about because it does cost them a lot of money, obviously, but that's not the issue. It's the people handling it. WB is fucked up,
And then not to mention WB owns the license to Wonder Woman, so they're not paying a licensing fee on top of for Wonder Woman.
There you go.
It would be a different story. It would be a different story if Rocksteady was an outside studio doing the license, which they are not. They are owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So see, they can't even use that as an excuse. They own the fucking IP, So
yeah, they own it.
Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, it's again, like we talked about, it's not about it's about the people. It's the culture and all that,
Yeah, are you the thing about it is it's what there's also the type of game that it was going to be. If we're gonna go down the line of doing an open world game like a Batman game, there's a lot more factors into there that happens with those things. The reason why that Wonder Woman game in general was canceled was not even Wonder Woman's fault. That it was a comic book game. It was the fact that Warner Brothers themselves said that they wanted to focus on the bigger franchises.
Yep.
The things that did well in the past. Again, a bunch of executives making a bunch of dumbass decisions. So what did they go for? They go, okay, we knew the Batman games did well. Well, okay, we're going to continue to do Batman games. Oh, the Hogwarts games did well. Okay, we're going to concentrate on more Hogwarts.
Mortal Kombat's the other one.
And the Mortal Kombat, okay, these things have done pretty well. All right, we'll continue with that. They couldn't have been okay, okay, some of these small. Well, granted, I'm sure that the Wonder Woman game is probably going to be a very expensive game, but again, that was Warner Brothers. That's Warner Brothers essentially thinking that they can throw money at a problem and make something brilliant.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And again, that's something Japanese studios generally don't do. Going back to our previous topic,
I will tell you this: a lot of Japanese studios are middle-A budget.
Yeah,
a lot of them are. You can.
Would it be surprised if Monster Hunter is?
Yeah, exactly.
No, Monster Hunter. This is again speculation. I can guarantee Monster Hunter doesn't have any more than 200 people working on that game.
Yeah, we could be wrong, but I don't think that's a bad guess. I don't think that's a bad guess.
I don't think they have. I think they're in the range of they're in the range of maybe 100, maybe 150 people. Because, like, look at like, if you look at our like with a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is pretty long game, right? Every single sequence in that game is all voice acted. Everything you talk to anybody, they say something. There are points in this game where you can see where they're like, all right, you know what, we're just gonna let that be text. It doesn't matter with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. All right. Hey, Kishak, we were actually about to answer your question. The question you submitted to us, but you asked another one which ties to this. So I'm going to answer that one first, and then we're going to wrap up with your other question, because this is kind of a good segue. Do you guys feel like the fetishization and worshiping of Asian developers is annoying, especially when it comes to character designs? We don't need every character to look like a Barbie doll. I'm not annoyed by it, but it would be nice if Western developers didn't purposely make ugly characters like we know they do, But I agree with you. Like, again, we want variety, and forget Monster Hunter World. Those don't have typical Asian looking characters in there. So it's not every game Dragon's Dog, but as a matter of fact, most of Capcom's games don't have characters that look like that. So you can't really lump in every Japanese studio like that. From Software, their characters don't look like that either. So it's not all of them. But I do know what you're talking about. Like, the Genshin Impact shit like that. But I don't have a problem with it. People like that stuff. So if people like it, give it to them.
yeah, I mean, I think we live in a world that has a variety of things, but I feel like a lot of times you'll have situations where you'll have a character that are just like, all right, why did they? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? We can do a little bit of what we can be a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
A fetishization of characters. It's a weird thing because why the question of you say fetishization of characters, but why does I always have to say this, how come every male character in every single game has a fucking six-pack of abs and looks amazing? They look like fucking like underwear models, every one of them.
I don't hear people complain about that. I don't hear people complain about that.
Nobody ever complains about that because let's just be honest. As guys, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter if Drake looks like looks a specific way, and I feel like
I watch wrestling and it's just guys with boots and trunks.
Yeah, it's literally guys in their fucking underwear running around.
They're in their underwear. That's it.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Even
MMA too.
in their underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
I think in general, it's like I think we get a little bit too obviously yes, because of the past, people things are that have been this way. But I also think we're also in an industry of fantasy.
Yeah.
Why can't you have that sort of thing? Just like again, every game and every movie can be their own world. In this world, okay, everybody's a fucking sexy anime character. In this game, this type of character's fine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Listen, people in general like attractive looking people. They don't want to play some slob, some ugly looking person, generally speaking, So
yeah.
Again, like you got to make things that are visually appealing to humans, not to crazy activist types. Like look at Fable, that character, bro. It's like nobody wants to buy that shit.
I also say this. They're also you ever notice that it's always in two different directions? It's never really combined. Where there is, maybe there is a couple of characters that don't look, that just look maybe like a normal person or looks a little ugly. But you'll see it's always in two different directions.
That's a good point. It's like what about
anywhere in the middle? It's like
yeah, you're right.
It's like, okay, you know what? We live in ugly universe. Okay, you know what? We live in everywhere in a universe where everybody is hot. Where's the middle ground?
Yeah, I'm gonna push back on Tony's point.
Well,
the whole thing about Fable, like if you made the character the best looking character of all time, people still wouldn't buy it.
Oh, because it's going to be trash? Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's true.
No, because it's on Game Pass.
Let's go. That was a good one. That was a good one. But yeah, so I don't have a problem with it. And that it's like he says Kishak says he's okay with sexy characters, but pull it back a little bit. Like I said, we just gave examples where you don't have overly sexualized characters. Literally, okay, with the exception of Street Fighter, obviously. Most of Capcom's games don't have characters like that, Resident Evil and shit. But you still got good-looking guys like fucking Leon, you know, like Demetresk and shit. Even though she turns into a fucking monster, you know. But like, play Dragon's Dogma, play Monster Hunter. Yeah, actually, Monster Hunter does a good job of having. Hey, that character is pretty attractive looking. Then it's like, oh, there's a normal person. You know, oh, that guy's ugly. I mean, like, you know, it's like a good mix of people.
I'll say this: the girl that everybody's all hungry for.
Yeah,
the homegirl who builds the weapons. Like, she's not like supermodel hot, but she's normal girl hot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's not like, she doesn't look like.
I'm laughing because she's probably, I mean? she's like supermodel hot for that world, not for ours.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like, she doesn't, like, she's not like Eve from Stellar Blade, right? She's not like that where she feels, well, and then also Eve's a robot, but like, she's like almost perfect, right? You have her. She looks. What is she? She's Marianne.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Marianne. Marianne's hot, but
Ginger's hotter. Yeah.
But Ginger's hotter. So I think it's like that sort of.
And Manny, some people prefer Marianne. You know.
I like Marianne.
There you go. I like Marianne too. You know. Oh man, some of the younger people don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about
Watch Gilligan's Island, right? Motherfuckers.
Yeah. Right back in here.
Tale of a fateful trip that started. All right, anyway.
So,
go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, the only thing I'll throw in here is, as long as what the Asian studios, especially the Chinese studios, have done is they are paying attention to the discourse over here and the games coming out here. That's why you had such a shift in the opposite direction with their character design. As long as you have people here who, people here are thirsty for escapism, but being told by activist developers that they need to stop playing softcore porn and instead pay attention to whatever they're making, you're going to have people making going in the other direction and making like super sexualized characters, right? That is the course correction that we're seeing right now.
Manny, before you ask him, Chris, you said they had to shift in direction? Would you say they had to shift up in their direction?
Yeah, there you go.
I will also say that, and this is Asian culture, or Eastern culture is not afraid to be exploitative.
Yeah.
You will find games for all types of people there. Games that not everybody plays, but they're looking to attract a specific audience. This is why you have those dating sims. This is why you have all these sorts of games that skirt the line of these sorts of things, because they're not thinking about a general, essentially being the Applebee's of games. No, they're targeting specific people.
Yeah,
and there's a big difference. There's a big difference between that. And of the way a lot of certain games are being developed, where, in other words, you're trying to create something that is attempting to try to be accepted by everybody. So you're rounding off the edges and you're taking off all the edge out of anything that's there.
Yeah. Okay. This is a good one. Who said this? Kishak says, in Asia, sex isn't really censored, but violence is a big no-no when it comes to gore. Yes. And Here, it's the other way around. And I think the perfect example is the current Mortal Kombat game, right? They purposely made the females, made to, not sexy to avoid the male gaze, yet it is the most violent motherfucking Mortal Kombat game ever released. Isn't that crazy? Oh, don't look at the sexy girl. Look at the crazy blood and guts. It's wild, Don't look at the titty, but look at the intestines being ripped out of the asshole,
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, but then again, it also comes with the way Western culture sees the human body in general.
Yeah.
Where we came from a lot of this Puritan sort of thought.
Well, where I will to the same journalists who are saying that if you play a game like Stellar Blade, you might as well watch porn. I don't remember these. I remember these guys celebrating Last of Us Part 2 that had blatant sex scenes in it.
Yeah, blatant.
Right?
There's
They're
none of that.
celebrating-
Yeah, none of that
No.
in Solar Blade.
Yeah. So I would like them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Who was that
Yeah, I
developer?
mean,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
Oh,
Benny.
go ahead.
No, it's just a question from Mysterio North Force. Your answer, the answer is Team Ninja, and that was Mr. Tomono Itagaki who created Dead or Alive. You know, titty physics, obviously. You know.
Yeah. They did all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, like you will never see like, I mean, to be honest, I don't know of a Japanese game that goes that hard on actual sex.
The reason we're silent is because I can't think of one. Like, yeah, they'll have sexy characters, but the actual act, like, I'm pretty sure mainstream games, because I'm pretty sure there's some crazy fucking mainstream games. Yeah, you're 100% right about that. Like, oh, look at that sexy girl's ass, but you're not. That's it. But yet in Last of Us 2, you get this full on porn sequence. You know. I
mean, in the order you get that too.
Yeah. Man.
But it's too. But you know, it's okay because it's two ugly people doing it.
Yeah. There you go, ugly people. There you go. All right, man. And the last question.
Sexy about it.
Ugh.
They need representation.
There you go. Yeah, get the fat, ugly people fucking in video games.
You look like me.
You look not represented. I see myself. Oh man! All right.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You won't get. Here's the thing. You won't get. You won't get titillated if there's a. If it's two horrible looking people that are doing it, right?
Oh, man,
it's fine.
All right. And the last question, also from Mr. Kisak, he goes, a fun question. Which group do you think feels the most persecuted or oppressed? Bloodborne fans or Xbox fans? Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, obviously for Bloodborne, they've been asking for a remaster for like over a decade now. Haven't gotten it. And Xbox fans are Xbox fans.
Hey, you got Days Gone remastered. Everybody wanted that instead anyway, right?
Yeah.
You wanted that.
Nobody has
I
that.
think everybody wanted that shit. Nobody wanted that.
I think Shuhei Yoshida said it sort of mentioned this. I think in general, they're literally wanting, Miyazaki to be involved.
That's what it is.
But then again, like how much was he involved in the remake of Demon Souls?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know how close he was to that thing. I think it's just they were just trying to be as respectful as possible to whatever was there already. So is that
just like approvals, right?
Just approvals. But yeah, I don't know. I think possibly the reason why that has probably not happened is just maybe because they haven't done it. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go with Xbox fans. They've been suffering for a very long time.
It's like where you're, a lot of I feel like Xbox fans are like the lobster in a boiling pot, where it's like really, really slowly but surely boiling them, and they're not, and they're,
Oh man!
Like I wonder if there are any new Xbox fans. Like that's the thing. All the people I know,
other than
that's a good question. Holy shit! I didn't think about that.
That is a very good question.
It's like that's the thing. Like all the people on my friends list that I still have are all people from like day one Xbox Live still on it. So we're all older, and I don't have any newer. When I go to play, I don't hear like newer people, younger guys. It's always the older crew. So I'm just wondering, hey, if you're in just on the Xbox Series X or something, I don't know people that are doing that now. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to get into gaming. Let me start with an Xbox Series X. That looks beautiful. More an S. I don't know these people.
Yeah, the only person I can think of is Brett's girlfriend for obvious reasons. He bought her an Xbox. You know, but because Adam, you know, new people that buy PlayStations, obviously.
Yeah.
You fuck, I never thought about that. Are there any new Xbox fans?
Yeah, because
I
at least with the
don't know.
PlayStation, you have things that can lure people. Like my son, Spider-Man. You know, that's the ultimate lure right there. But what can you sell for an Xbox to get someone new to gaming and say, yeah, you need this Xbox?
Game Pass.
Game Pass. That's pretty much it. Game Pass. And then when they turn it on, like, where's Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yo, can I play God of War on it? That's the hip hop gamer question. Can I play God of War on it?
No, we got Gears of War though.
Yeah, that's
whenever they get
GOW.
around to that.
Yeah.
And the other IPs they're coming back with, they just screw up. I mean, I saw the last trailer for Perfect Dark. Joanna Dark looks like Brock Sampson with red hair. I'm like, what the fuck happened? She's supposed to be like, 60s, like sexy spy woman, and there was fun stuff in the game like aliens and shit. And now the game looks like it's serious as a heart attack, and she looked like a man.
Yeah, it's SBI infused, Chris, if you know that acronym.
Yes.
Man.
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh, Western gaming. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Xbox. They remember they're the guys that came up with that whole hold the line thing, when they were feeling pressed against the wall, and a lot of those guys are no longer around. Like as Xbox fans, like Crap Gamer, he was the one that came up with that whole slogan, hold the line. When they were trying to take their Xbox games away. Now he's a PlayStation guy. Same thing with that Red Dragon dude. He was a big Xbox guy back in the day. Now he's a pony, But yeah, Xbox, man, you're going through it. But, hopefully life will be better for Xbox as a third-party developer, which they effectively are. Many just haven't said it yet, right? But they are.
Yep, they just haven't said it yet.
It's crazy.
The way they see it is as long as there's a box that they're producing hardware, then they don't need to say it. Even if it's just one of those, like we talked about, a limited edition just on their website, they'll just keep it going because they own all these big publications. So even if you're a novice to all of this and you see all these studios that they own and you think Microsoft, like Microsoft software. So yeah, they're just pushing on software, right?
Yeah.
Well, they sort of have hardware too. They have a Surface also. I wouldn't call that a computer, but they do have it. So who knows? I mean, they're still in the game. We need competition. So if they back out, I don't know who would fill it. So let's just keep them.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's start wrapping things up here. And for plugging Manny, damn it. God damn it. Manny, for the past 10 minutes, you were looking perfect. So I was like, let me go to Manny first before the camera fucked up. As soon as I said that, the camera fucked up. So I'm going to save you. I'm going to hold you for a little bit. Wait, do it now. You're good now. Go. Okay. You're muted.
So yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #7 is out in stores right now. This is part of a 4-series cover series between me and Kari Randolph. And for the next few months, you'll be seeing us doing all 4 turtles, Leonardo, starting with Donatello and moving on to all the other guys. We haven't actually said which one. They haven't revealed which of the other ones were going to be in the numbers. But yes, that's all going to be on the field. And also coming March the 26th, I think, is Naruto, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Naruto, which the cover has been revealed, and that's going to be coming real soon too. So lots of turtley shit coming from me and Kari Randolph.
All right, we got like 2 good seconds out of that. I when you were talking before, I kind of wanted to go, man, pull the comic up right now, and it was looking nice. I may do that next episode. Like, man, pull it up now. All right. As far as I'll let yeah, you know what, Rich, get in here, man. What's going on with the coalition this week?
Yes. So the coalition. Oh boy.
A great website.
I think it's safe to say the coalition, much like WWE, we are on fire right now. Yes. So I'm going to obviously pass the mic over to Adam, but let me just go ahead and plug his show, Talking Reacher. If you are a fan of Reacher on Amazon Prime, I would recommend that you definitely check out his podcast with Lawrence. Very good listen. And they will be dropping their next episode this upcoming week. Myself, Dana, and Gary, we will be bringing back the Power Podcast this upcoming Friday. So if you are a fan of Raising Kanan, definitely check out that show. Of course, we have the Invincible podcast,
Yeah.
which will also be coming this upcoming weekend. Saturday will probably when we record. Aside from that, on the gaming side, this is going to be a very crazy month for games. There's quite a bit of stuff that I have started to play or will be playing. I can't really talk about it yet, but I'll just say this. We have a lot of things planned for this month, so if you are a fan of gaming, I would highly recommend that you check out the website and the YouTube channel starting this month, because there's going to be a lot of stuff dropping.
That's
So
what's up.
stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So Adam, more details on the Reacher show.
Yeah, it's been great, man. Last episode, almost 3,000 views, on YouTube and just on all the other platforms. People are commenting and subscribing, and it's just great because it's a fun show. Reacher is bananas. We just did a recording for the next episode, which is going to drop on Thursday. So yeah, we're really enjoying it. It's a great show. If anybody hasn't checked it out, it's like Rick said, Reacher is on Amazon Prime. This is the 3rd season, and the name of the show is Talking Reacher. But at this point, if you just type in Reacher season 3 on any of these platforms, we come right up, which is fantastic.
Hell yeah.
So that's always a win. So yeah, and of course you find us at the Coalition. It's on the website. It's also on the YouTube channel, and we plan on doing some other shows on there as well. This is good. Everything's picking up, as Rick says. We got that one coming back with Power coming back. We got in May. We got Dead City. Walking Dead is coming back. So good time all around for TV and gaming over at the site.
There you go. And yeah, like you guys mentioned, Invincible podcast, the latest episode is now up. This week it was me, Rich, Carlos, and Chris joining us. Really good discussion about the recent episode. We have 2 more episodes left, 2 more weeks. And if you saw the ending of the previous episode, shit is about to get real. Like really real, like so real that the comic book guys had read it. Me and Chris, we had to keep our mouth shut. Like, we can't tell people what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy, So
don't trust real estate agents.
Yeah, don't. Yeah,
How many episodes are going to be in this season? 6
Eight,
episodes.
eight,
right?
eight, eight.
Oh, eight.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Adam, what they did was, it's kind of interesting for the press. They released screeners for the first 6, and they just released screeners for the last 2 last week. I actually get them because I'm part of the Writers Guild, but I watch them with everybody. I enjoy it that way. Great show, man. So yeah, and again, the podcast that's my Saturday morning routine. Wake up, watch the show, do the podcast. It's all good.
The Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, it is a Saturday morning cartoon, only with more violence and shit. It is
way more violent.
way more. All right, man. So that's going to do it for us. Throwdown will be back on Thursday. You already know what's going to happen in this wacky industry. Who knows? And yes, we will be having more. Actually, wait, let me back it up. Thank you for everybody that joined us during our epic Monster Hunter live streams. We basically did almost two 6-hour shows, almost 12 hours worth of content for you guys. And we'll be keeping that going for a while, man. Every weekend, Friday and Saturday, playing Monster Hunter. And it's fun to stream, man. So thank you for joining us. And I hope you guys will join us again soon. But for everything else, make sure you check us out on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Join us on Discord and follow us on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. And tonight, I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody.
And Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everybody. And for Carlos especially, I hope that your Nuggets also have a good day, because they got whooped earlier. But hey, we'll see what happens.
We'll talk about that.
Uh-oh.
The Knicks lost today, too.
Oh, Adam, my condolences. All right, guys, we'll see you on Thursday, man. Let's see what happens.